Good morning, wrestling fans. Today is Sunday, March 12th, 2023. Lance Brock here on this Sunday morning, walking, and there's a little bit of snow, a few little snowflakes falling, not very much, not right now anyway. Tonight, WWE Superstars Sunday on A&E, back for another week, starting things off with Biography, which is Kane this week, and then immediately following WWE Rivals, Triple H and Batista, which I'm sure will focus on Evolution, and then their world title match at WrestleMania 21, and then their feud after that. But on this episode of GMWF this morning, I wanted to talk about the subject of Biography WWE Legends tonight, and that is the Big Red Machine Kane, or now probably better known as Mayor of Knox County in Tennessee, Glenn Jacobs. And I'm sure they'll cover this on the Biography documentary tonight. I remember, the first time I saw him, I didn't really know at the time. I found out later was there were some matches in WCW, and I remember the character. I just didn't realize at the time that's who it was. Bruiser Manstino, who turned out to be Kane very early on in his career in WCW. But the first time I actually remember really watching him was when in Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He had a character, Unabomb, and he was even partners with Al Snow at one time there in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I've talked about quite a few times here on the podcast how we used to get Smoky Mountain Wrestling here in the Detroit area on WADL TV 38. Used to come on Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. So that's where I was every weekend. Saturday at USWA, Sunday Smoky Mountain. And I remember there were times where WWF would send talent there to Smoky Mountain for some of the big shows to have matches, and they actually did have a match between Unabomb and The Undertaker. Of course, The Undertaker defeated Unabomb, which was the first match, I believe, between Mark Calloway and Glenn Jacobs. And I'm sure most people that are listening now that were fans at that time remember Dr. Isaac Yankum, DDS, when he was brought in as the dentist of Jerry the King Lawler to take out Bret Hart. And after Isaac Yankum, he was brought in to, instead of saying fake like most people say, I'll just say he was recasted in the role of Diesel. I say kind of, that's what they say in the world of soaps when they get a new actor or actress to play a character. They say it's a recast, and Bruce Pritchard talked about that on Something to Wrestle With before, that they own the rights to the character, so they can get anybody to play the character, pretty much was what he said. And so Glenn Jacobs, the former Isaac Yankem, playing Big Daddy Cool Diesel, and Rick Titan playing Razor Ramon to replace Scott Hall. And then obviously the most famous character for Glenn Jacobs, Kane, when he finally debuted after a lot of build-up. We find out that The Undertaker has a brother, and we finally meet Kane at Bad Blood for the first ever Hell in a Cell match between The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Everybody remembers the moment when Kane comes out, rips the door off the cell, goes right in the ring, tombstones The Undertaker, and setting up that legendary feud, the match at WrestleMania 14, and then eventually the Inferno match. And definitely probably his most famous feud with The Undertaker. And eventually, fast forwarding a little bit to 2002, or was it 2003? My mistake. I think it was 2003. Kane was unmasked on Raw, which he did go for quite a while being unmasked. I'd say he did have a pretty good run, actually, being unmasked. Was it as good as a run as Masked Kane? Maybe not, but it's still a pretty good run, though. And then eventually he would put the mask back on and then take it off again, put it back on. There was a couple of times on Raw where he would take it off, put it back on, and of course, gotta talk about, well, in my opinion, this was a great time. Team Hell No, when he teamed with Daniel Bryan. And I thought those two worked really well together. I was a big fan of the Team Hell No. And at the time, they were definitely over with the fans. Pretty popular team with the whole anger management segments, and then they ended up getting along. And after that, of course, Bryan went on to win the title at WrestleMania that year, or WrestleMania 30, I should say. Now, Kane, the mayor of Knox County in Tennessee, and so biography tonight should be pretty good. I'm looking forward to it anyway. Finally, I know I was late, but last Sunday with Revolution being on, I didn't get to watch, and I was late last night, though. I finally watched the biography episode of China, which is pretty good. And a lot of it is stuff that is well known already. They do mention the documentary that they were making at the time she passed. But I definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it yet. And I haven't watched last week's Rivals yet, The Rock and John Cena. do have it recorded though. And like I said, Rivals tonight, Triple H and Batista, who Batista pronouns, pal, has been talked about, kind of rumored, going into the Hall of Fame this year. So who knows just yet. So far, only Rey Mysterio has been announced. So that's all for this Sunday morning episode of GMWF. Thank you for listening, everyone, right here on Spreaker or wherever you are listening. And 360 Wrestling Fanatic hopefully will be back soon. So keep locked in right here to 360 Wrestling Podcast. But one thing that will be back tomorrow morning, GMWF for the Monday episode. Hope everyone has a great Sunday today. Hope everyone enjoys the biography of Kane, WWE Rivals, and talk to you tomorrow. Keep watching pro wrestling.